hello there, dear listener. I'm your host, Erwin Blackthorn, and this is the Dirty Lore House podcast, coming at you with all the deliciously nutty dirty lore. Today I have a guest with me, a brand spanking new author and rising YouTuber, the Edgy Penguin. Today we're going to be talking about games and Authortube, which is pretty fitting if you ask me. Alright, so Authortube, right? I'm going to introduce you to the whole Authortube ethos. Do you know anything about it before I start?
The only person, I don't even know if they're considered Authortube, is Crimson Rogue, because I watch his, he does reviews of really awful books. Wait, do you know who that is?
No, not at all.
Well, he's actually really good. He did it's several videos, but he did a multi-part, one of them he broke into, two of them he broke into parts. He read Onision's really bad books.
Oh, okay.
And it's a really simple setup. He sits in a chair, he has the book, and he'll have, scans of, particular parts that he's highlighting on screen. He'll, throw in, a meme or two every once in a while.
That's kind of what I did for my own book analysis for Daniel Green.
I'm not familiar with Daniel Green. What does he,
Daniel Green's a fantasy YouTuber. Well, he started out, talking about fantasy and mostly about the Wheels of Time, because he was, a big fan of that book series, right? And after that, he became an author-tuber because he wrote a book of his own, gaslight fantasy. That's also, a Lovecraftian mystery. But
it actually sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting, right? You start reading the book, and it's boring as hell, but...
Aw, damn.
But it's so hilarious how they accused him of being pro-authoritarian and pro-religion, because in the book, it's supposed to be a dystopia. And they have this religious police that come in called the Officers of God. And he started this big controversy.
They're portrayed as the villains, right?
They're supposed to be the police you'd have in some kind of cyberpunk dystopia. It's not supposed to be a good place. It's supposed to be a bad place.
Right.
But the whole time he keeps on flipping it around. So the police, they're seen as the good guys. They're the protagonists. But then at the same time, they're supposed to be bad guys. And he doesn't know which one to make him because he wants his characters to be likable and unlikable at the same time. And it's just so indecisive. Yeah, it's really indecisive, so you don't know what the hell to think about it, so you think of nothing, and then it just means nothing to you. There's no theme that continues. It's always flip-flopping.
Oh, I hate that when something's not... Okay, you can have inconsistency because people are inconsistent in general. If it's a specific character, one minute they're a little bit... I understand that, because, I'm like that, too. Depending on time of day, I'll be, way more upbeat and cheery, and other days I'm just I'm fucking done. I hate everything.
That's being bipolar. Don't worry about it.
Not even, in a bipolar
no,
way. Just I'm just done with this shit.
Yeah, I'm totally the same way. Sometimes I'm, bouncy and goofy, and other times I'm, I look like a serial killer with my eyes. I'm like Scarface at the end of Act 2, where... He's just covered in cocaine and just looks all looks all haggard.
Hey, he just shoved his face in a mountain of cocaine. If you're gonna write a character, I get having a character where you're supposed to feel mixed on, you aren't sure if they're actually to be really simple good or bad. That character who's 1 minute helping a character you next minute sabotaging them, and you're I'm not sure, am I supposed to like this character? Am I supposed to trust this character? What's going on?
Well, this is what happens, I think. So, you'll have a gray character, right? One who you're not really supposed to be seen as the moral good or moral bad. They're in the middle, right?
Right.
Some people, they mistake that as they can be doing good things and bad things at the same time. In the same way that you do that in a video game where...
Yeah.
What game is that? Mass Effect or
Mass
Infamous?
Effect does that.
And you can choose the good or the bad thing to do, and then your person will be so inconsistent, you can't. It's the game makes you go to the middle at the end of it, right?
Well, because I've played Mass Effect, the thing with Mass Effect that kind of annoys me is it forces you to kind of commit to one side, even if it's a situation where you kind of want to be either one, because it's the Renegade thing is much more aggressive and just doesn't give a fuck, and then Paragon's Boy Scout.
Yeah.
But sometimes you kind of want to play a bit of both, but if you do that, you're penalized, especially in 2, because every time you do something in either side, you get more points for that, which means that you can pass higher speech checks for those things.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, there's certain points where you really need one of those stats really high, or else it'll bite you in the ass later. If you do like the flip-floppy thing where you kind of pick when to be an asshole and when to be nice, you might not be able to pass the stat check and then screw yourself over out like the better endings.
Well, that's kind of what these books do. They screw the main characters out of the better ending, and the better ending is the one that the author didn't want to make, I guess.
That's sad because I really like Lovecraft stuff because I recently got into reading Lovecraft stuff.
Yeah,
and he's probably the only author that can get away with. I think he's the only author that can get away with telling and not showing.
It's not long at all. It's I think it's like under 100 pages. It's like a novelette or novella, whatever you call it. Yeah, I'll send it to you later if you want to check it out, or you can just check out my analysis of the first chapter where it goes through the whole thing. His novelette thing, it's on like some random website. That's I think he posted it there, so I don't know why he's selling it.
Maybe he was doing like the thing where some people they'll release it like every so often, chapter by chapter.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
For free. And I'm doing that on Wattpad, even though no one reads it on Wattpad.
I guess I misspoke because there is a reason to do that. Like, you want people to find it for free if they can't afford it, and then you also want people to pay for it if they can to support you.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they originally did with original version of Doom, where the first episode was a shareware thing where it was free and they didn't charge anything for it. But then you could, I think there was like a number you could call or something where you could pay and it would give you the rest of it when it came out.
You had to call the number. It made me think.
Yeah, well, remember this is back when like dial-up was a thing. We didn't have Steam.
Hey, you made me think of like those infomercials, and then like they had like the. You know, like those infomercials you see like as a kid, and then they're like, "Oh, if you act now, you get this level for free too, and this level for free. Add on this one."
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like '90s DLC.
Yeah, it was '90s DLC.
You gotta call.
It really was '90s DLC, and I was reading the Masters of Doom book, and I actually wrote a note in my ebook version saying, "Is this DLC? Before DLC was the thing?"
That's intense.
But I mean, it's kind of a smart way to do it when you think about it. When you're that small and no one knows who you are, really.
They didn't have a publisher yet, did they?
I don't remember if they did.
I think they started their own company, right?
Yeah, cause they were it at this point, but I think it was just them. Because the only other game they released was Wolfenstein. I think that did have a publisher originally. I think I'd have to.
It might have had one later on because I don't think that it became big until what's that other game called?
Doom, I think.
No, there's Doom and then there's the other one.
But there's Wolfenstein, which was.
Damn, what's the other one called?
There was Commander Keen, which was the other one they did, which is like a platformer. I've never actually played that one. But there's like references to it in I think Doom 2 has some references to it. I don't think Doom 1 did.
What the fuck is that game called? Quake, sure. That's it. I was like, what's that name?
Well, Quake came out after Doom. Like, that was...
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I don't think that it was popular until Quake came out. And then apparently on the Wikipedia it says, Doom is a game that popularized the genre. And then Quake wasn't its first true 3D FPS? Huh?
Yeah, it was. It was the first 3D one they ever did.
Oh, my dyslexia.
Because Doom is 2D, but they have a lot of tricks to make you think it's 3D.
I like how they did that back in the day, like with Duke Nukem and Shadow Warrior and the Redneck Rampage. They're like making it look like a 3D. Yeah. Blood, first unit of Blood.
Oh yeah, Blood I hear is hard as shit. I've actually never played it.
I played the game. Dude, you have to check that one out. That one's actually really fun.
I've seen videos of it, and it does look really, really cool.
If you like the Lovecraftian thing, you would definitely like that one, because it's like if you had Quake, but it was set in like these like gothic villages, and then you have like these cult leaders or these cult members. They have like Tommy guns, and you're like throwing Molotov cocktails at them.
You're throwing like dynamite too at them,
and you're like stabbing them with like a pitchfork. Like, you don't have a knife or anything or your fist. You have a pitchfork in that game.
Sounds awesome. I'm really
it makes you feel like if Resident Evil 4 was like a really old like Doom style game.
There's another game that's I think is inspired by Blood called Dusk. That's also pretty Lovecraftian. That one's art style is more like Quake, because it's 3D, but it's got that 90s 3D going on, but a little bit nicer looking.
If you had the choice.
Although there's settings to make it look worse if you want to.
If you had the choice, like, you're going to make like an indie game of that kind of style, would you rather do 3D or that like 2.5D thing that the Doom and stuff does?
Probably 3D, because I'm way better at making stuff in Blender than I am at drawing, honestly.
Really? Okay. I mean, let's say you have like a team. Like, you had a team with you. You can do either one, no matter what.
If I had a team, tough because both of them look really good, but for different reasons.
Like
I feel
Microsoft
like 3D
hires you.
you can do more, but the
Microsoft
2D
hires.
one is easier. I don't know. I'd probably pick 2D first and then do 3D later. Like do like a simpler thing first in 2D and then 3D if that actually worked.
Well, I mean, it would just, like, the questions about, like, which style you prefer for your own designs, if you could. Not about, like, the ease of it. It's more about, like, your own personal style.
I think I would lean more. That's tough because I liked some of the 2D games, but I really like 3D also.
3D
So-
works well with a serious Sam style. So if it's, like, a big, huge group of enemies that keep on coming, I think 3D works better for that.
Yeah, it does.
Have you ever played Serious Sam or no?
It's funny. I have all of the games, and I said that I was going to.
You never played them?
because I got them in I got them in a bundle, but I haven't actually touched them yet.
Play the first one first, obviously. Second one, it's gonna be really weird, but if you like a cartoony, like, weird style, it's so bizarre, that the second game. But you might like the aliens in there.
I heard the latest one was kind of meh, but the DLC expansion that's like a separate thing is actually really good.
The third and fourth
fixes the
one, I'm
problem.
pretty sure they're garbage, because the third one I played, and you had to reload, and I'm like, this is not Serious Sam. The Sam never reloads, okay? The only time
That's
he reloads...
weird because none of the other ones did that.
The only one he reloads is his double barrel shotgun, because, that's,
I mean, it's a
two
double
shots.
barrel. Like you gonna have to reload it.
And technically it's not reloading. Technically it's just a delay,
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely play the first
Wow,
one.
that they decide to put reloading in.
Dude, it's so dumb. And then instead of having a Tommy gun, you have like an M4 carbine or whatever it is, like the more recent gun. And you can also like aim down the sights. I'm like, this is not... This feels so weird.
I don't mind ADS, but if your game is meant to be like an old school shooter, why would you put ADS in there?
And you can also like lean around cover. Like you're supposed to take cover now, apparently.
Why would you lean around cover?
In a Serious Sam game, what is this? Am I supposed to be playing Serious Sam or Gears of War? Which one is it?
I say this is Gears of War, like a Splinter Cell type game, or like a Tom Clancy game. I can understand that.
Might as well add in some
Where you die in,
Assassin's
like,
Creed.
3 hits or something.
Have me blend in with it. Might as well add in some Hitman 47.
Oh, that would be funny, actually. Just Serious Sam. Serious Sam goes full Hitman for
How
no
the headless
reason.
bomber guys, I steal their uniform, and then I'm just walking around in the camo pants or whatever.
And no one sees you.
Nobody notices. Alright, well, we did forget the subject, because I was trying to tell you about the Authortuber thing, right?
Oh yeah, you were. You were telling me about. We were talking about the guy who did like the Lovecraft thing. That
the main thing about Authortube you have to remember is that all these people, they are supposed to be authors that talk about being an author, right? So technically, I think
Right.
maybe you might be one, but you don't really talk about your books and stuff, right? You just promote
I don't really
it.
talk about the process. I just promote it in videos.
Yeah, these people, they talk about the process. They talk about the money they make, or some of them do. They talk about like how to write better. So a lot of these people, they started off as like advice givers. You can consider them gurus. And
yeah, that's fair. I've seen people do that.
I mean, that's what I try to do. I try to give people advice first, and then once I prove myself, then people can understand that the advice works. But for the
Right.
people who are author tubers, like the top ones, the white women at the top, it's like white women at the top and then the black guys at the bottom. That's how the author tube works. I'm serious. It's like a big, huge pyramid, right? It could be a pyramid scheme, if you will. But they have all these white women at the very top, and then they have all the black guys at the bottom. And then I think it's like
That's,
white guys below that, or somewhere in the middle.
That's really suspicious.
And I understand why, because it's a white woman. Of course, people are going to be clicking on that when they see it on the thumbnail. Like, one of the most popular ones is Jenna Moreci, right? Have you heard of her?
No, I haven't actually heard of her.
Alright, she's this annoying white woman with this very shrill voice. She sounds like a chihuahua being strangled. And
That sounds horrible.
yeah, her videos are understandable. She gives advice that's actually proven, but it's just so basic, you can find it on any article before she gave the advice. It's like that kind of thing where like she'll look up something online and then she'll just like state it out in a video.
Kind of annoying, but she's not as bad as Sniper Wolf. God, Sniper Wolf's voice is
I don't think I've heard her, but there's something going on with the white woman. There's something in the white woman water.
I don't know what it is, but some of them have like the worst voice.
I think it's because men don't tell them to shut the fuck up and change that because they're models. They're like Jenna Moreci is a model. It's like she started off as a model, and then she became a I think she said that she became like a stockbroker, and she has like a business degree and everything. So then she used that business degree to become an Authortube, and she knows how to market herself and all the other stuff, right?
Oh, that's neat. I didn't expect to hear a model out of that. I was just assuming she probably has like a normal like day job or did, but okay.
Yeah, she used to be a model, and I think the only reason she was a model was because you don't hear the model talking when they're taking pictures.
True.
Like,
unless it's like one of them weird Miss Universe pageant things.
It's like it's like
really charged questions that nobody cares about.
Yeah, she wasn't in like a Miss Universe or anything. But with her, she's one of the biggest ones, but everybody copies what she does and what she talks about, and everything that she talks about is how can I explain this one? Is trying to pander to the woke, but she hides it as if she's not speaking to the woke people, because she never mentions woke or what's another term that they use. She doesn't say anything bad about like right-wingers, or she doesn't say anything political really in her videos, right?
Right, I was just skimming her video. It didn't seem like it.
Not at all.
Right, said it.
But she lets herself slip every once in a while, because when she gives advice on how to write characters, she says that characters have to be diverse, or else you are a bad writer.
What?
Yeah, so she says that if you have a book where it's all white men, or even mostly white men, that's a bad story, because the characters aren't diverse.
Okay, before you put that caveat on there, I was thinking, okay, I could argue that like as in don't have all your characters sound the same or think the same way.
Uh-huh.
Because yeah, and it's gonna be hard to differentiate them, but if we're just doing it based on skin color, that's stupid.
Exactly. And a lot of times the people who try to defend that, they say, well, isn't diversity important? And we're like, yeah, that's important, I guess, if you care about that. But that doesn't mean it's a good story because it's diverse. It has nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's bad because it doesn't have X amount of insert minority group here that, mainstream media says needs more representation.
Like, imagine if somebody said that, I don't know, like, Legend of Zelda was bad because it had people who looked white in there, mostly.
I don't even play Legend of Zelda, and I would honestly be ready to smack them, because like, you realize how many different fictional races exist in Legend of Zelda, depending on which game you're talking about specifically.
I know, I never played Legend of Zelda either.
Midna is. You got whatever the hell Midna is from Twilight.
I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of something where like they have only one kind of like color. I guess maybe something like Lord of the Rings.
But even then, like, there are actual, this is gonna sound weird, there are actually minorities in Lord of the Rings. It's from like, there's a whole other, not a continent, but a whole other region.
Yeah, the southern continent. It's like
the southern continent has
Africa.
Like the brown people.
Or it's like, yeah, pretty much.
Even though in the movie, they're allied with Sauron in the movie, because they're the ones who bring in the elephants and stuff during the Battle of Minas Tirith.
Excuse me, it's Oliphants, okay?
Oliphants. But it's funny because Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, or the sequel to that, the DLC where you play as someone from that territory, and it's like this game actually said that it's not canon at all, and it's basically fanfic.
You play as
but
one
they
guy?
actually pulled shit from source material. Yeah, there's a I don't know if he's supposed to be black or Arab, but he kind of could. I haven't looked at the character in a while, but there's a DLC where you play as him. And
does he wear a turban or something?
I don't think he does. I forget what the DLC is called. I have to look it up again.
I do like that. You know what? Like, people don't realize that Assassin's Creed 1, that one felt like it was really diverse, because you start off as like an Arabic guy, isn't he?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's like during the Crusades, I think. Altier. I forget the rest of his name because it's long.
Yeah, but that guy and that whole region is like mixed with Europe and Arabia.
Yeah, because it's during the Crusade era, so there's a lot of
that one makes sense.
We'll say there's a lot of interaction there. Not all of it positive, but
that one makes total sense to me. So does Ezio being Italian. I think that's pretty diverse.
Ezio, yeah.
But then you have the later ones.
Then, like, there's a lot of.
Well, I was gonna say you have the later ones, and then you have black people in Norse countries or Norse areas.
Wait, did they actually do that in Valhalla?
Have you seen that picture?
No, wait, they actually did that in Valhalla, and it's like, okay, it's one thing to just make a new character that just happens to be black in Viking times. That doesn't make any freaking sense either. But to take an actual historical person and then make them the wrong race and the wrong gender too is just weird.
It's pretty much that meme from where it's about Netflix, like the Netflix adaptation, just turns everybody black.
Yeah, it's like it is the Netflix adaptation, and you notice they always do it with genders too. I know it's a meme,
they switch to gender, they switch to color, just strictly to black, and they say, "Oh, that's diverse. That's what we want."
It's always a ginger that gets blackwashed too. It's never.
I mean, if they're Irish, they're pretty much what do they call them? White monkeys.
Damn, I knew Irish people were not historically were not treated the best, but they went that far with it.
I think they called them the black people, the white people, or something stupid like that.
I feel like there was a point where Italians really got shit on, at least in the U.S., by like everybody.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
F in the chat for the Italians. Oh man, but that's so weird though that they keep doing that shit. Especially something like Assassin's Creed, where you can argue they're pretty freaking diverse and not in like a forced way either, because they go everywhere. Like there was like a spinoff that was in China at one point, I think, and it had like a female assassin.
In Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, it was I think it was like a side scroller.
That one, yeah, that one was the one that like nobody played and nobody cared about, because who cares about China? It's not that big, not that important.
Let's be real though, everyone wanted.
There's no audience for that. China? Who wants to play as a Chinese person?
No, right?
You know how many Chinese people there are? Not enough, apparently.
Apparently. And again, I remember Creative Assembly tried that with Total War 3 Kingdoms, and I heard that did not sell well at all.
That's a disappointment.
They wanted to.
Because, I mean, come on. 3 Kingdoms, Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was shocked when I found out. I was like, you mean to tell me this thing didn't sell well?
Maybe because Chinese people aren't allowed to play games after 9 o'clock or whatever the fucking curfew is over there. But
it's something like that. I did a video about this. I should remember that. I know, like Fortnite, they like pulled the plug on that in China, like the China friendly version of that, because of the curfew thing.
I mean, maybe their kids over there are going to outsmart our kids over here, because we're dumbing ourselves down with all this. What do you call it? All this media that makes us more stupid, and then their kids, they're not affected by that. They still got the brains. Yeah,
but they just get the propaganda. Well, we get propaganda too, so I can't even say that.
There you go.
They got their own brand of propaganda.
It's the same propaganda. Who's kidding who?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing at this point.
If China and America were at war, who do you think would win?
Probably gonna say America, because from what I hear, China.
You think America's gonna win?
But the thing is that I hear like China has numbers, but
with the generals we have, with the soldiers we have, with the leadership we have, you think China?
Like, I'm not gonna say it would be easy, but because the thing is, nowadays when you think about it, like a lot of stuff is drones or tanks and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen the Jackie Chan film? They can kill all of our guys with one person of theirs.
If it's an army of Jackie Chan, we might be in trouble.
One Jackie Chan versus all the army of America. America's army.
If it's an army of Jackie Chan, we gonna be in trouble.
Army of Jackie Chan is that's scary. That's worse than a nuclear missile.
Yeah, you don't need a nuke. You just send in army of Jackie Chan. Just have everyone else just sit on the silence and just watch.
Like those animes, like a Naruto episode where everybody else is watching while 2 people fight out.
Yeah, pretty much. That just reminds me. I was watching because I haven't watched Naruto in years, and I was in a video with someone talking about Madara from that, and I forgot how fucking ridiculous the show got. It's like Madara summoned freaking, or like it's basically a mecha, but it's made out of like his aura or whatever. It's like, what the fuck is
in
this?
Naruto?
Are y'all even ninjas anymore? Yeah, fuck the Susanoo.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm not kidding. Like,
wait a minute. There's a mecha ninja.
Ridiculous.
There's a ninja mecha.
It's not actually a mech. I'll send you a picture.
Is he like riding it? Like he's riding his aura?
It's like an aura that forms around him, but it's like a giant 4-armed samurai thing.
Oh, is it like in Super Monkey Hyper? What was it? Super Monkey. When you say using DuckDuckGo?
Yeah, I'm lazy. I need to switch to like Brave.
No, dude, did you hear about how now they're gonna censor things too?
Oh, they doubled down on it.
They pretty much did, I think. I don't know. I haven't kept up from it since I saw the first news about them censoring, but yeah, it sounds like they're going to go censoring route too. Same with Mines, same with Gab, same with, I think...
Wait, hold on. Mines is doing that now?
Everybody's trying to censor more. Were you there for like when Ruckus came out?
Ruckus. I don't...
It was like a Reddit alternative.
Was that like that Reddit kind of... Yeah, they started censoring stuff too?
Yeah, that one lasted for like, I think a year or two. And then at the end of it, they're like, we wanted to be about freedom of speech, but we didn't know this was going to become political. So we quit.
Okay, then.
It's like, what are you on about? Freedom of speech is a political position already. How do you
You know,
think
that's
it's
sad.
not going to be
That's considered
political?
now.
There's so many things that people don't understand are political, and then you have the other side who says that everything's political. You know what I mean?
My counter to that is, please explain to me the politics of Tetris. Especially because they bring it up in video games. Like, please explain to me what the political message of Tetris is.
Oh, you got to
Please
put the
explain
blocks
that to
together. It's about structuralism, and it's a Marxist concept. It's materialism.
You know, you're joking about that, but someone will seriously with that.
Yeah, you just bullshit your way through it.
That. Yeah, and somebody will eat it up.
And that's why there's actually a big discussion now. I don't think it's big anymore. It was like 5 people were talking about it, but it's because Lindsay Ellis made a video about the death of the author, about how she thinks that Harry Potter belongs to J.K. Rowling. So whatever J.K. Rowling says, it gets seeped into the Harry Potter like mythos. So J.K. Rowling says something that's transphobic, then Harry Potter becomes transphobic also, right?
Honestly, half of the shit that Rowling has said is like, this isn't transphobic. Y'all are just nuts.
I would say it's not even half. I would say it's all. Nothing she says transphobic.
I would actually call her based, but it's like, you kind of a feminist, so you can't be based by default.
Based feminism. Accidentally based feminism.
Accidentally based feminism. What I find so weird about the people who are trying to cancel J.K. Rowling is like, you realize she's a freaking millionaire, right?
I don't think they're trying to cancel her. I think they're trying to build themselves up.
Like, you can dunk on her on Twitter, but it's like, you realize at the end of the day, she can just dunk on you by just flexing how much money she has.
Here's how it is. It's not like a crabs in a bucket thing for her. She doesn't go down when you pull up. It's like when the kitten climbs on someone's jeans. Like, they're just going upwards on her, and then she stays up. Like, there's no pulling down from her because she's just so big, you know?
Yeah, it's just like mildly annoying to her.
Big Mama J.K. Rowling. You can't stop her.
I just remember Emma Watson recently was throwing shade at her and people pointing out, hey, Emma, you know you wouldn't have an acting career if you didn't get into Harry Potter, right?
You think she would have? Like, she got, like, a different role?
I don't know, maybe, but I don't think she would be as big because, I mean, what's the last thing you saw her in? I'm not even trying to be a dick. What's
Beauty
the
and
last
the
thing you
Beast?
saw Emma Watson in? I think that was it, and that was how many years ago?
Where, like, she's trying to sing, but they, like, have somebody else sing for her, I guess, because she can't
It's
do
clear,
it.
like, they did some kind of auto-tune at points. And it's very distracting because, like, auto-tune didn't exist in this time period. Why am I hearing a very clear auto-tune?
Oh, man, that poor girl. I feel bad for her, because she does seem like she's, mentally incapable of understanding reality, because she's just so pampered. And she gets, like, this, what do you call it? Inorganic autism.
Just artificial autism.
She has the artificial autism, yeah.
So it's sad. It's sad.
Non-vegan autism. GMO-ridden autism.
It's autism, but it's GMO free, guys. Therefore, it's good, right?
If you're gonna be autistic, at least be GMO free about it. You know, don't give all those alternative preservatives.
And gluten free too. Don't forget.
She's got the autism preservatives going on.
And don't forget gluten free too.
Gluten free.
Yeah.
Fucking dumb.
It's just so weird that it's like, Emma, are you really sure you want to be trying to dunk on her at this point?
And do you think Daniel Radcliffe should be in a American History X remake?
I don't know.
Like the guy who's in his underwear and he like curve stomps the other guy? Do you think Daniel Radcliffe should play that guy?
I mean, have you seen Guns Akimbo with him? Like it was wild.
I've actually never seen that movie.
It's wild. The only thing is they make him. I can't decide if they're parodying the typical soy boy thing or not parodying it because he acts like that. Like his whole like they make him out to be a loser when he goes and starts arguing with people online. Like
oh damn, who's that Asian chick in there? Natasha? What the hell?
And he ends up pissing off like these people who strap guns to his hand, and he's like in like a basically like a battle royale thing, but it's filmed like a reality show.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually really funny, but there's just moments where it's like he does the annoying like soy humor thing.
He's trying to be like Michael Cera, but with guns.
Kind of. There's a scene where at the end where he beats the shit out of the guy who started all this, and it's in front of the girl that he likes, and they do the thing where it's like, because you see this in movies like where the guy kills like the bad guy and then the girl like hugs him and they make out or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's like, no, that's not realistic at all. That's not what happened. You know, she's traumatized kind of thing. Which, yeah, you would be seeing a guy just get brutally murdered right in front of you, even if you hate him, would probably mess you up unless you're a sociopath.
I like how there's a character there called Fuckface.
Oh, yes, right, there is a character called Fuckface.
It's like some super handsome, like, Norwegian guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny movie.
I guess I'll check it out, because I like that kind of style, but sometimes when they do that, like an action comedy thing, it gets a bit too hipster. I think Baby Driver did that, but I can't remember how bad it was.
I actually have never seen it, but I did see that one scene with like this. Like I think it's like the opening with the bank robbery where he's driving them away, but someone dubbed like Persona 5 music over it. It worked.
Yeah, the music, like the whole soundtrack of the whole movie works well with it, but some scenes, it's like they're trying to force the scene to fit with the music instead of the other way around. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
No, it does. It does. Because I've seen movies where they try to do that, where you can clearly tell they synced up the action scene with the song that's playing.
Oh, that's actually a good topic. So, whenever you're writing, do you think of a particular song, or do you have like music playing, like how they do with like in like the Matrix, when like the music goes with the action?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I have a private playlist full of music that's just specifically for certain things.
Like in your battles, do you have like Doom music playing or something?
Actually,
somebody shoots and then like the drum goes, poof, like it has like those like it goes with the gunshots and goes with the punches.
That would be fucking funny. But no, I'll just have like I think I have used Doom soundtrack just when I'm writing something that's like a lot of action and stuff. It'll just have like grab like some of the most intense songs, or just one song from there and just make it loop for like 30 minutes to just write to that.
Because it's hard to write an action scene, I've noticed. It's hard to write it when you have lyrics going on. Is that the same for you?
It really depends on the lyrics. Like if it's like a metal song and it's like very
and you don't understand anything from it, there's like you're like, okay, I can.
Yeah, you really can't understand it, then it's fine. If it's that, then it's cool. But if it's not, then it can be a little bit distracting. Especially if it's a song you really like the lyrics to, because I'll end up like rewinding that part of the song constantly, and never realize I should probably actually be writing stuff.
Yeah, you get distracted from it. You stop writing. You're just like enjoying the song instead.
Yeah.
There are people, like there are Authortubers that they'll put up their writing playlists, but it's funny because they're white women, so it's like the most generic songs you've ever seen in your entire life.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Like, at least use a soundtrack from a movie or something. Use the Titanic song or something, I don't know.
Oh God, you want the Celine Dion one?
Anything. Predator soundtrack has something.
Oh, Predator soundtrack, the main theme from that is like, yeah, that's hype as shit.
Or RoboCop, that actually has a really great background soundtrack.
Yeah, RoboCop soundtrack are pretty solid.
But you know what? It's not fair because it's all synthesizer. Like any synthesizer song can sound good when you just keep it on repeat.
That's true. That is true.
What do you think of is there a name for that old sound from the 90s, like in Resident Evil, like 2, I think it was, where it had like that weird it's not synthesizer, but it's a specific 90s sound they had like on the action movies at the same time. You know what I'm talking about?
I kind of think I do, but it's one of those things where I'm trying to.
It sounds like an electronic violin when there's like a tenseful moment.
Oh, I think I know. It's like this weird. It's almost like a distorted violin, sort of.
But it's not a violin. It's like some kind of like electronic sound, and then the music's always like very mellow and in the background. And then I guess when you have like action, then it goes like you know, like almost like a Final Fantasy thing.
I don't know what that is, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not explaining that very well.
Yeah.
But do you like that style more
soundtrack right now listed
than some kind of like what they have now in action movies?
I'll be honest, most action movies, like you don't even hear the soundtrack. It gets drowned out by everything.
It's drowned out by everything, but most of the time it's that the cliche like blah, you know, just like with that one note.
Yeah, the Inception noise.
Or they'll try to have like some kind of weird like bass build up, and then like an explosion happens, and then they'll have like a dubstep sound to it.
Yeah, that like the bass drop happens as the explosion goes off.
Like in Spider-Man. You remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where Electro, he'll be fighting, and every time there'll be like a dubstep song to it?
Oh yeah, Electro's theme was straight up dubstep. I actually like that theme. A lot of people hated it. It's like, I kind of liked it. Like, it was crazy sounding. It is like it kind of fit the character because he's supposed to be crazy.
It did fit, but that movie was so goofy. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
It was goofy as hell,
and not in a good way. Because I do like that campy style, but the way they did it, it wasn't campy. It was like I don't know how to explain it, but they'll have
it was
a
like
scene.
this weird thing where you couldn't tell if they were trying to be serious or not.
Well, no, because they just pack up too much shit into one movie. Like, there's a moment where you have Spider-Man fighting Electro. Then you also have these planes about to crash for no reason.
But that's because he he shut down the city's power grid.
I don't fucking care. Why is the planes involved?
I guess they was trying to add stakes to the whole thing. Like, okay,
you know what I mean? Though that's
if we don't get the power back on, then yeah, I get it. I guess they wanted to just add more drama to.
And Spider-Man doesn't know that the plane's going to crash. Why would he care? How does he?
Yeah, he doesn't know that, so. It does feel really weird.
They are probably trying to do that thing in Dark Knight where, what was it? The people were drowning?
Are there people drowning in Dark Knight?
In Dark Knight, there's some kind of thing at the end where the prison is going to blow up or something, and then they had to decide if they're going to
Oh, the boats were going to blow up.
The boats, yeah. And then so the prisoners, they decide to not blow it up or not doing anything, and then because they did that, then it changed everything else.
Because Joker wanted to see, he was trying to prove that, people are just monsters on the inside, would push to their limits and stuff. And he wanted one of them to blow up the other boat, because he was saying that if neither one of you blows up the other boat, I blow both of you up.
Yeah, exactly. And then it turned out that, nobody got blown up.
Yeah, everyone decided, no, we're not going to blow.
And everybody cheers, and then Celebrate starts playing.
I guess, kind of.
Queens, We Are the Champions starts playing.
That would be funny if someone edited that movie when that happens.
That's actually what happened in what was it? Oh, Path of Neo. At the end of the game, We Are the Champions starts playing.
Wait, are you serious?
You never played that game?
I played a demo of it.
That game is insane. That's the peak PlayStation 2 movie adaptation game out there.
Because I know they changed the Smith fight because they
changed the Smith fight to be where it's a giant mecha Smith.
Yeah, which is so freaking weird.
That fits
they
so well though.
They stopped the game to explain. The fact that they stopped the game to explain why they changed it makes it even funnier.
Yeah, the game, they're just fucking around. They didn't give any shits because they're like, dude, it's a movie adaptation. It's the movie adaptation. I can't even say it. Movie adaptation.
Of a game, it's a game adaptation of a movie. So
there you go. Is there actually a movie adaptation game you liked a lot?
This is kind of a This is going to be kind of like a technicality. So you know how Ratchet and Clank got a movie, right? It wasn't very good, but they did a movie.
That doesn't count.
The game for that was
the
fine.
movie. It's a game based on a movie based on the game.
Yeah, it's cheating, and they even acknowledge that on the cover. It's based on the movie, based on the game.
Have you played the new Guardians of the Galaxy game?
I haven't, but I heard it's actually good. But
I heard it was really good, and I kind of want to check it out now before. I think Square Enix made it. God damn, why is Square? I kind of like and hate that Square Enix and Disney are merged together technically, thanks to thanks to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Of all the things to merge the two most giantest companies out there is fucking Kingdom Hearts.
I don't know if it's technically saying they're merged. It's kind of they just...
You know what I'm talking about. Now all the Disney games are being made by Square Enix.
Yeah.
And because, I think it's because they both allowed each other to have copyrights of another.
Yeah, something like that. Because I think at Disney, at Disneyland, there actually is Kingdom Hearts stuff there.
I thought you were going to say there's a Kingdom Hearts ride.
Some level. I don't think there's a ride, but I think there was an area where they actually...
I would fucking love if there's a Midgar area, a Midgar castle. You know how have the Disney castle? And then you just have a Midgar castle from...
I would go to Japan just for that, honestly.
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And then you walk in and it's Sephiroth's theme song is playing. It's that's...
Yeah. Yeah. You just see the sword embedded in something, and then this just the music starts playing.
Oh, and all the little go-karts, they're that little cart that Cloud and the gang, they're driving on the highway, the one with 3 wheels.
Yeah, you just hear Sephiroth's music playing the whole time or something, or the battle theme from 7 playing.
Oh damn, that's making me really want that now.
Yeah, Square Enix, do that and put one in the U.S. too. Shit.
CEO Square Enix, if you're listening to this, definitely put that in.
Yeah, unlikely that you're listening to this stuff. Please, we beg you.
Mr. Miyamoto, or whatever your name is, please put that into...
I remember, I think near Automata in the DLC, they actually put the president of Square Enix as a secret boss.
Wait, in what game?
It's just him in a suit. In Near Automata and the Arena DLC. I think one of the hardest fights in the game is the president of Square Enix. And they actually gave him a battle theme too.
Is that a Square Enix funnier. Game?
Yeah, Platinum and Square Enix.
Okay, that makes sense. That's actually pretty fucking hilarious. That's like when Hideo Kojima puts himself in his games.
Too. Yeah, it's really funny. Like, he introduces himself.
I hate it when Americans do it.
Down from like above and just starts talking to you.
Like, whenever a Western designer or like artist or author does it, it always looks annoying. Like when Stephen King puts himself in his books or his games. No, not his games.
Because he cameoed in It Part 2, and it was really weird.
Yeah, he'll be cameoed there, or he'll be like a cameo in Overdrive or something as like some priest. But like when a Japanese person does it, they do it with style. They walk in there like a wrestler with like their theme song and everything. Yeah,
it's really funny that the CEO is just in the game and he's just doing flips and shit and karate moves on you.
Would you do that with one of your stories, or no? It feels like it's too cheap.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
Like, would you do that? Like, you just have yourself as one of the characters, like not even like a main character. You're just like I don't know, how would you do it? Like, you just be like a random soldier, like a random human?
Yeah, just randomly just be like just a minor character that just shows up for like one scene.
I think if I made like a animated adaptation or like a game of like one of my stories, I would always have myself just be like one of the background characters that dies.
I got it wrong. It's not just it's the CEO and the president fight you for Square Enix. That it starts with just the CEO, then the president joins in halfway.
It is pretty funny how like a weird dystopian world has Square Enix still surviving. Probably somehow the cause
Square Enix still survives.
Oh, that's the person I was trying to think of. Alfred Hitchcock. He did it in a non-annoying way because he would always put himself in his movies.
Yeah. Peter Jackson does that too. Like, he just will cameo, and it's usually blinking you miss it.
Was he one of the orcs in Lord of the Rings?
I remember the one he cameoed in the second Hobbit movie, but he just walks past Thorin at one point.
Oh, okay. It's kind of funny. Yeah, that's
it's
like
very
Alfred
blinking
Hitchcock
you miss
style.
it. Like, someone pointed it out to me.
Yeah, that's the Alfred Hitchcock way. Because Alfred Hitchcock, he'll be like walking dogs or something, or he'll be like sitting down, or he'll be like some drunk guy in the background.
Yeah, I always find that funny. I think Michael Bay did that in the first Transformers movie.
Oh, goodness.
The human that Megatron flicks into a car. I think that was Michael Bay. It was disgusting and flicks him. I think that was actually Michael Bay that did that.
And then his had like the biggest explosion of all.
I would have made it funnier, but nah, he just gets flicked into a car and it's just the most comedic sound effect.
I actually never watched the Transformers movies.
The first one is still good, even though the other ones are just kind of eh.
Are Transformers like something that inspired you, or not really?
Kinda.
Like,
I'm a sucker for anything with robots, and especially if they transform into things.
Because I like the idea of Beast Wars more than Transformers. I guess I don't like it when it's by itself. It has to have somebody inside controlling the robot.
I guess it's like a personal preference thing. I'm either or.
Like I like mecha human pilot, I like mecha things that like when like there's like a fighter jet and it's like, oh, I can't do it with this mode. I gotta transform, like in Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
What was that one in Godzilla? It was like a jet, a tank, and something else. And
you're talking about Mogira? Like it could split in half and it could go in like a jet mode and like a tank mode or something.
I remember there was 3 of them, and then they're like, we gotta combine forces, and then they turned into like some it wasn't Mechagodzilla, it was something else. I forget though. I just remember there was 3 of them. It was like a tank and a jet and a helicopter.
I don't remember that one in Godzilla. I don't remember one that did that, where they did a combiner like that. Because all I can think of, there was Mogira in one of the movies where he could split in half. Like the upper part became a jet and the bottom part became a tank that could burrow into the ground or something.
It's probably that one. And somebody in the comments is going to like correct us and give us the whole story.
Yeah. We're going to be like, actually, you fucking nerd.
Actually, you're both wrong.
Yeah, I was like, actually, you're both wrong, which, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not that much with Godzilla lore.
Maybe it's like a spin-off thing, because I've seen most of the Godzilla movies.
No, I swear I saw that in one of the movies, but I just still got any many of them. What is it, like 100 years worth?
Well, Godzilla ain't that old. It's like 50. I think it's 60 now.
You lie.
Hold up, let me look it up.
I'm pretty sure it's 70 years.
No, it's got to be 70 at this point, because I remember it was 50 in like the early 2000s.
And do you think that Godzilla is more fantasy or more sci-fi?
It really depends on which version you're going. Okay, so 1954 to 2022. What is that? I'm terrible at math, actually.
I'm very sure it's more fantasy.
I would say more fantasy for the most part. There are some that try to be a little less fantasy, but 9 times out of 10 it's just, yeah.
Do you think Harry Potter could take on Godzilla if he had like a Philosopher's Stone or something?
Maybe. Okay, so it's 68 years old, so we got 2 years. Maybe, I don't know, because I don't know, what does the stone actually do again? I don't remember. It's been so long since I've read Harry Potter, I legit forgot what it does.
He has the sword of Gryffindor. Do you think he could take on Godzilla? Like on his broomstick?
The only way I could think of is if he somehow let Godzilla hit the blade with his atomic breath, because it takes in things that make it stronger. So if it somehow survived being hit by Godzilla's breath, then maybe he might be able to hurt Godzilla.
And he has Hermione and Ron cheering him on the sidelines.
Yeah, no, they're distracting Godzilla by doing like magic flares or something. Or like magic flashbangs that just stun him. Well, Harry is like flying with the broom and the sword trying to cut him.
That'd be pretty funny to see in the anime.
It would, honestly. Like, I'm kind of surprised there isn't like an Attack on Titan Godzilla like crossover thing.
Attack on Titan and Harry Potter?
Oh, sorry, Attack on Titan and Godzilla. Like I think that'd be pretty interesting to see. In the Godzilla
I think the Harry Potter one would be funnier.
It would be funnier, yeah, because I just imagine Harry thinks he's good. Like they do like the big charge thing, like the music's hyping up Harry. He's flying in the story, Godzilla just tail whips him out of the air into a building.
If you remixed the Harry Potter soundtrack, it would sound like the Attack on Titan soundtrack.
I guess you could do that. I'm not terribly good with remixing music or music theory stuff, because I'll be honest, when somebody says something is out of key, I don't notice it. So I have to really pay attention to it to notice.
Oh, but speaking of crossovers, I did find this one amazing one the other day where it was SpongeBob crossed over with Fallout.
How would that work?
It was so dumb, but it's only one chapter, and it kind of cuts off like halfway because the person didn't finish it. And I'm so disappointed. It sucked me in. It really entranced me.
That sounds interesting, but weird.
It does, right? But it works so well because apparently Bikini Bottom, like according to like the internet theories, the game theories, right? The game theory of it all is that Bikini Bottom started because a nuclear test in the Bikini Atoll, so it became Bikini Bottom, and then all the characters are supposed to be radioactive, like creatures that became sapient or conscious or whatever.
Oh, that's really dark if that actually was true.
Yeah, so this motherfucker, he put that as the opening, like the prologue. And then he said that the nuclear strike in the water was because of the war between America and China and Fallout. Wow, and then it has all the Bikini Bottom characters in like this desert wasteland, but they're still like fish creatures, right?
Right.
And then you have Squidward as like the main character, and he's going around like killing raiders and like other super mutants and stuff. And he finds SpongeBob, but somebody took out SpongeBob's tongue. And so SpongeBob can't talk.
Oh, shit.
And then I think Patrick's there too. But then like he goes back to like the main city that's nearby. And they're talking about like rat snails instead of rat scorpions. It's like rat snails. And then there's like instead of a death claw, it's death jellies. Like a jellyfish.
Sounds actually scarier, honestly.
It sounds amazing, but the guy stopped at
sounds scarier than the death claw, a giant jellyfish monster trying to kill you.
Somebody make this into a story. Somebody make this into like an actual thing. I want to see more of this.
Someone should make it, or someone should just make a Fallout mod that's just that.
As a SpongeBob Fallout mod, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I would play the fuck out of that. It'd be
the right kind of nuts.
You go into the Krusty Krab, and it's like just full of like dead bodies being hung like up on the wall, and like big bags of meat.
Yeah.
And instead of super mutants, it's like superfish.
Superfish shit. You got like super tuna that's just
super
massive and tanky.
Instead of the Mirelurks, it's like Larry the lifeguard.
Lifeguard.
Dude, it fits so well, but it shouldn't. But it does.
It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. Like, this shit should not go together as well as it does.
Well, that one, if you look into like the core elements of everything, you know, the Disney movie and the fairy tale-ness of the Final Fantasy, it's almost one and the same. How do I explain this one? Final Fantasy is a fairy tale, but uses mythology to have that as like references, right?
Yeah, they do that a lot.
And then Disney is just a fairy tale that uses the hero's journey, like more specifically, and then has like musicals and stuff. But if you combine those two things, it fits very well. That's why it just accidentally worked.
It's just one of those things. If you told somebody that on paper, they would just be like, "How the fuck does that work?"
That's what everybody thinks. Like, how the fuck does this work? Disney and...
They would just stare at you and be like, how the fuck does this work?
Final Fantasy? And then, like, now that Square Enix, like, bought, like, Eidos, like, why don't they just put, Agent 47 in there?
Put freaking Legacy of Kain in Kingdom Hearts.
That would work.
Stupid, but at least be something.
That would totally work.
I just imagine Razio just sees Sora and is like, "What the fuck are you?"
I would like to see that kind of like
soul or something.
You know how like in some places you'll have Sora, his costume will change to fit the area.
Oh, him as a Legacy of Kain's art.
Yeah, he'll have like a Legacy Kain like scarf over his face and stuff.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
Square Enix, if you're listening to this, make this happen. Come on.
Yeah, Square. I mean, while we're at it, can we get a Legacy of Kain remaster too? Because I really like remakes. I really would love to see that remake.
I'll
just
personally fund
it.
I'll personally fund it in Dogecoin.
Yeah, I'll throw some crypto in there. I'll throw some crypto in there. It's like, Square, make this game, please.
I know you guys want that more than you want the American dollar.
Yeah, because isn't Square trying to do NFT shit?
I don't know, but it sounds like something they would do. I know China, they want to make their digital currency, then America wants to copy that. It's like, I wonder why they want to have digital currency.
We already have USD coin, so...
that one's not actually a currency, though. That's just a stable coin that's based on the dollar. It's not an actual dollar, you know?
I don't know if it was actually, like sanctioned by the U.S. government or something.
It sounds like it is, yeah, but no, it's just based on the value of the dollar, so it's just so that people don't lose money out when it goes up and down like crazy. And apparently that one's supposed to be a problem, but I don't remember how. But, you know, 10% interest, why not? If you're going to do a savings account, might as well do that thing instead.
Yeah, might as well. That would be nuts if they ever actually did just straight up say, hey, we're remaking Legacy of Kain. I'd be like, yo.
I think they should go more crazy with that. And I think that Microsoft, now that they're buying, you know, Bethesda and all the other stuff, why don't they just do some crossovers too? Have their own Kingdom Hearts, Halo, and Fallout.
The most meta thing now is since they bought Activision, it's like, now own Spyro and Crash, which were PlayStation's like 90s platformer mascots.
Oh, wait a minute. So Microsoft owns Activision now, right?
Yeah, and Activision owns the Spyro and Crash licenses now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, just have, what's his name? Halo, the Master Chief, and he fights with Crash and Spyro.
That'd be so fucking funny.
You know, they could make it more cartoony, like the Master Chief part, because whenever I play Halo,
they could do it.
I played a little bit. I never played it before, but then I started to play it, and I missed out on so much. It does feel like it's like almost like a what do you call it? It doesn't feel like it's a space military sci-fi. It feels like it's some kind of fantasy thing, right?
It does have that element, and it is a little more cartoonish with the art style, at least in the first one. With 343, when they got to Halo 4, they tried to sci-fi it up more, but it kind of went into like a more generic looking.
I mean, when you're playing it, you don't feel like you're in much danger when it comes to being out in space, or like you don't feel like the world that's like a ring. You don't feel like it's like an actual thing that you're gonna see in sci-fi. It feels like a fantasy thing instead. I mean,
because you don't see that. You don't see that anywhere else.
Like recharging your shields, that's like a fantasy. What do they call it? There's a name for this, but it's where sci-fi gets so advanced that it feels like it's a fantasy. It feels like it's magic.
I don't know if I know what I don't know if there's an actual term for that, but it's.
I think they call it like pseudo magic or something like that. Sci magic.
Sci magic's probably a good way to describe that.
But yeah, it feels more like Star Wars than it would feel like Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And I think that they wanted to, they could totally make their own Kingdom Hearts, but with Halo, Crash, Spyro. What else would there be?
Overwatch, Diablo.
Oh yeah, they own all the
Doom.
Blizzard stuff now.
Yeah, so Doom
Overwatch
would
feels
be
like
in there
fantasy too, right? Is it like
Yeah, because I
fantasy
mean
in
their
space?
technology's freaking weird. Like you got like Mercy can straight up resurrect people somehow. I don't know how that works.
Probably with nanomachines, like the
Probably.
the Metal Gear Solid 4 excuse.
I love how they meme the shit out of that in Metal Gear Rising with the senator where Raiden's like, "How are you not dead?" And he just goes, "Nanomachine, son." He just looks at you dead. Dead. He goes, "Nanomachine, son."
Yeah.
Most bullshit thing ever.
And Metal Gear Solid's another one where it does like kind of try to blend the line between sci-fi and fantasy with the whole nanomachine
It
thing.
really does. Like, you had the freaking vampire dude. It's like, oh no, it's not vampires, it's nanomachines.
Yeah, a vamp was interesting in the second game, but I also felt he was like one of the weakest characters just because he felt like he was like built up way too much compared to what he's supposed to be able to do. Like he was like just like a side character, but he should have been like the main bad guy.
Honestly, from what I've seen of, because I haven't played Metal Gear 3, but from what I've seen, that character looked like he stole the show.
In the no, that's in the second game. The third game was when Snake's in
game.
the 60s.
Oh, that's right. The fourth one is the one where he's old man.
Fourth one, he comes
right?
back, and in Raiden, he's fighting against Vamp, and they're doing like all this very homoerotic stuff while they're fighting.
Just remember the part where Raiden's got the two walker things. And
Yeah, he's like spinning, he's like breakdancing.
spinning them around. Like, what the fuck is going on? This man is spinning a tank around his legs. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're trying to make it very epic in that one, but I don't know. The fourth one was like my least favorite one.
And with Ocelot and Snake, it's like, this is weird.
Like the first game and the third game, they feel like Metal Gear Solid, and then the second game and fourth game, they feel like they're just parodies of the other ones.
The second one, though, that one scene with like the twist reveal thing with the AI to my word, we're censoring stuff, and it's like, that kind of was. I gotta give Kojima credit for that. You kind of just predicted modern day, honestly.
Yeah, have you seen videos about where people are talking about how the whole AI thing, where like the AI feels like it's realistic or what?
I've watched Max Darrett. I think he did one about how he titled the video, I think, the most profound conversation in video games ever, or something. He explained why. And it's like, wow, that actually was kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I love Max Darrett videos. Like he makes videos on like all the very interesting stuff that like I like in games.
Yeah, his stuff with Shadow Colossus was just nuts.
Yeah, and also with DSX, where he's explaining like the whole DSX world and how Elon Musk was like tweeting about it.
Yeah,
and it really does feel like that now we're in the cyberpunk dystopia where all these cyberpunk stories from the 80s, 70s, and even 60s, they were supposed to say, this is what you're not supposed to do. Don't allow this to happen. And then we just allowed it to happen anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of those things where it's like, damn it, that was not a guideline.
It was not a guide.
A warning.
It was a warning.
Not a guide.
What do you think about cyberpunk? Is it like a genre you really like?
So I've read the Neuromancer, which is like what's considered like the godfather of that, pretty much. And that's not an easy book to read, honestly. Like the guy's writing style is very confusing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like there was a part where someone got murdered, and it took me about 5 minutes to realize that I just read a murder scene.
I know what you're talking about. That kind of writing, it's not where it's like too flowery, is it? It's like he's too indirect with what he's trying to say.
It kind of is.
Because
it kind of is.
I used to have that problem with books like Fahrenheit 451, and that book, now that I read it, it's like it feels like very like flat out clear. It doesn't feel indirect or obscure at all. But when I was younger, I didn't know how to read things properly, so that one felt like I don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like I know what you're talking about because I haven't read books like that. I feel like I probably need to reread Neuromancer.
It might be a sci-fi thing. Sci-fi books are written very strangely in that regard.
The thing that irked me about it was, you know how in most sci-fi, like if they use a term, something, they normally explain it in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Either like directly telling you what it means, or they give you enough context where you can figure it out.
You mean like they give you some kind of weird jargon, and then they give you like the explanation
they
of
use some weird jargon for something, and the character either says what it is, when it says what it is, or described well enough that you understand what the term means without me actually telling you what it is.
I don't know, that kind of thing is really hard to do. Like, there's no winning with that. And it should be explained differently than fantasy, because when you're in a fantasy world, usually it's like the people already know what's going on, so there's no reason for them to ask, what's this? You know, what is what is this thing I'm supposed to know already? You know?
Again, sci-fi is kind of like that too, where it's like it's technology that people like use on a daily basis, so it does feel weird if they actually explain it to people.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a case where the character somehow has never encountered this stuff before.
Because I did notice that in your story where you'll have some kind of technology and you don't explain it at all. You just have the technology speak for itself, like the weird way that cell phones work or something.
Yeah, I try to... That's something that's honestly, it's hard because I always worry, like, am I explaining this properly by like not explaining it?
I think you don't have to explain it because I've done that myself where I have some weird technology and I just have the event or the actual actions explain the technology for itself.
Yeah.
Like if you call a gun like XLM 400, you don't have to explain what kind of gun it is. You just say, oh, it's fired automatically. It blasted the shotgun style spread or something, you know?
Yeah, or it's like the
it fired a laser.
Like remote control or something. I don't know.
Because usually it's like you don't have to explain it until... I mean, you don't even have to explain it half the time unless it's some kind of new technology that nobody knows about, which some sci-fi is like that. Like how they had to explain what the Halo ring was in Halo. Because the people were like, what the hell's the Halo ring?
It was.
Yeah, because it's some mysterious invention that some ancients created.
It is one of those things where this is kind of true, and this is why I think a lot of things they'll have a character that's meant to be sort of a surrogate for the audience.
Yeah, the fish out of water, or the what do you call it? The gateway from the audience to the world. So like some new person comes into a situation, and then everybody explains it to that person.
Yeah, or it's like the character has like amnesia and they conveniently forget all the stuff that they really should know.
I'm so stupid. I'm actually retarded. I just realized that's why they have amnesia all the time, so that people explain it to them.
Yeah, it's a good way to frame that without...
Dude, I've gone like almost 30 years not knowing that.
I'll be honest, it took me a while to realize that's why they were doing that too, because I always thought it was weird.
All my life and all my study into stories.
Because I noticed it in video games do that a lot, where a character has amnesia, and it's like they have to explain stuff.
It's always in JRPGs, especially, or like
yeah, JRPGs are worse with that.
Final Fantasy VII did that in a good way though, because in that game it wasn't where they tried to explain it. It was more like new characters came in, and then Cloud or somebody, they would be explaining it to the new people. Like in that one part where like he's explaining like when he met Tifa and everybody in like Nephilim.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's how Sephiroth came in. Because, like, dude, like, did that blow your mind when you first saw, like, Sephiroth come in? And then you had, like, the sword in the back of the president's back? And then you're like, who the fuck did this? Who's this powerful that they defeated, like, the Shinra Corporation single-handedly? And you're like, oh, it's Sephiroth.
Yeah, that shit was nuts.
That was perfect. That was beautiful. And I think they fucked that up in the remake.
Yeah, because in the remake, Sephiroth is around a lot. Like, he's, like, taunting Cloud. Like, he's like, I don't know if he's actually there, but it's, like, a hallucination thing.
Is he, like, in a dark alley, and then, like, he, like, smiles, and, like, a bunch of purple smoke comes out of his mouth, and then he, like, seeps into the darkness?
There's, like, a part early on in the game, right after you blow up the, nothing like that happens, I don't think, unless it's in the DLC, which I actually need to buy that. But there's a part where, right after you blow up the reactor at the start of the game, where Sephiroth like appears like down the street, like there's like fire around you and stuff. He like says some vague creepy shit, and then you know the thing that every horror game does, where like there's something ahead of you and it walks ahead of you around a corner, and you're supposed to follow it even though you really don't want to.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You do that, and then I think he's gone after that, or something else happens.
Now, see, that's a horrible introduction to him. That's like trying to introduce it. When I think of remake or something like that, I don't think that they should expect people to play it already. I think that they should just make the story as if there was no story before that.
Yeah, it's very... Because the thing is, it's kind of... It does this, like, meta thing where somehow Aerith and Sephiroth are aware of what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, there's some kind of, like, destiny or fate thing. And then in the end of the game, you defeat that weird monster that determines fate or destiny.
Yeah, they're called, like, I think it's called, like, the Arbiters or something, or what they're called. Arbiters of something.
Arbiters of Fate?
You end up fighting. I think that's what they're called. You end up... Because originally only Aerith can see them, but, like, anyone she touches can then see them. It's like there's a moment early on where something that's supposed to happen doesn't, and then like, the Arbiters do something, and then it actually does happen the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, for me, I think that's really dumb. I think that was a really horrible inclusion.
I get the idea. I kind of get the idea, and I think like on paper it's interesting. Like, okay, we're remaking the game, but we're having like an in-universe way where things are changing.
It's too meta for me. I mean, like, you should have fates.
Because the key minus Nomura, so Nomura likes to do meta shit like that.
I know, but like, fates make sense in mythology because you have the Sisters of Fate in mythology, you know, like Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And you also have destiny, where it's like the difference is that fate is determined like by something else, by the spirit world around us, and then your destiny is like what you choose from specific destinations that you're able to do, but you're still limited, you know.
Yeah.
But when you have these fates in a game and then you kill them, what happens? Now it could just be whatever it wants to be. But I was like, what was the point of them in the first place?
It seems to be the implication because, and I don't know if I should say it because it is a spoiler.
Who cares?
The game's been out for a while.
Spoiler
so
alert.
At one point during the final battle, there's a part where you see, you know, the scene from Crisis, I think it was a Crisis Core, where Zack is like fighting to the death against Shenra's people.
Yeah.
You see that, but then when you beat Sephiroth at the end of the game, they show that in this version of the continuity, like you change it so Zack is still alive, I guess. They don't really elaborate on that.
Wait a minute. So when you kill the Fates, Zack comes back alive?
Well, no, what happens is you're fighting the Fates, and then after that, Sephiroth shows up, and
you fight him.
Like in this weird... I'm not actually sure what the fuck is going on. You're like in this weird vortex thing that's like...
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like this blue, like spiral that you're in.
And then it transitions to like this apocalyptic, like jumbled mess of like buildings and a meteor coming down at one point during the fight. That's actually final phase of the fight is you have to beat Sephiroth before the meteor hits or it kills you.
Wait, what the fuck were they thinking?
It's really weird. I don't know what's going on with it.
Did they really think this is gonna like beat the previous game where at this point of the game you'd be just like walking over the Nephilim and getting like introduced to like the backstory?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I actually think I actually kind of like it, but at the same time it's like, yeah, I think everyone would have been happy if you just did the original.
I mean, they don't even have to do the original. They just had to like not mess up and try to combine the very ending of the original game with the middle part of the original game, you know, like it's like they're skipping ahead.
It's really,
and then they want to like resume, but in a new direction.
It's really strange because I'm not even sure if that actually is Sephiroth you're fighting or if it's just some.
It's like the Sephiroth in like, Cloud's brain.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. I don't know what it is, but there's a part at the end of the fight where he's talking about you have like 7 seconds till the world ends or something. He's counting down, and he and Cloud are fighting, and then nothing happens. Like he just kind of vanishes. Like he taunts Cloud for a second, and it just disappears. And you don't know what he means, and it's clearly like referencing to something that's going to happen later.
Oh my goodness! What happened?
Then they said
what happened to Square Enix?
They're saying it. They said in an interview years ago that going forward, it is just going to follow the plot of the original game.
That's what I'm saying. They introduce all these new things, but then they're going to keep on with the plot of the previous game. I
don't know, because the DLC adds Yuffie into the game. Like she has like her own little.
And then like that other guy with her.
Added. I don't know what the other guys. They did add Weiss from Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, which was like a spin-off about Vincent.
I actually do like that.
That game was fun. It's just that it had a fuck ton of cutscenes, though.
I like the idea of the boss battles being based on colors, and the bosses were actually really interesting because like Weiss was like, I think he had like 2 swords and he was like teleporting everywhere.
He had like 2 katanas and could teleport and stuff.
And then what's the girl's name?
I forget her name, but the Crimson Lady. She had like
the Crimson Lady, yeah.
She had the weird like maul style blade where it's like double sword thing.
Oh my goodness, that was great. And then Azul, he was like this big beast that can like turn into like
that beast mode.
Yeah, he had like a beast mode. I like that kind of idea.
Yeah, they were like their designs were interesting. It's just what the hell, the gameplay just wasn't all there.
Do you think in the next
I was hyped for that game?
Like in the next part, like part 2 of the remake, do you think they're gonna mess up with Vincent's character?
I don't know. I actually don't know what they're gonna do because they haven't said anything for a while.
No, I mean like from what you saw in the first game, do you think they're gonna just like fuck it up?
I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do with Vincent. I hope they don't fuck around too much.
I do like the idea of unlocking him from that manor, and then like he comes out of the coffin.
Yeah, most emo introduction ever. It really is the most emo introduction ever.
Yeah, when he gets out of the coffin, Good Charlotte's the anthem starts playing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so in your story, you have and like in your book, you have animals and you have humans, right?
Yeah.
Like the Terrans and you have the humans. Is there a way that they become hybrids or no? Like, can you have like an animal humanoid?
No. Not like, the way you'd normally do it. I mean, maybe some crazy person probably would try to genetically engineer that, but no.
Because I think that would be cool to have like a Vincent Valentine style of like a animal thing where the person is human, but then like they lose control and then they like a werewolf, they like transform.
That would be kind of interesting, but I'm not sure how that would fit in with like
a Sonic Unleashed already.
Yeah, I could see that, but I'm just like not sure how I would integrate with what I got planned so far.
And do you like that thing when they put it in games like a Sonic Unleashed where characters usually normal, but then later on they put in some thing where they can transform into like a beast mode?
I don't mind it. It's just more so like how they implement it. Because Unleashed, the problem with that was I liked the game, but the freaking Bearhawk stages are so freaking long.
I never played it.
On the Wii version is what I played.
I just thought it was funny to say Sonic Unleashed. And do you like like in Devil May Cry when they have like a beast mode, like the demon mode?
I do like that. That is a trope I do really like.
Or do you think it's like a cheap thing that shouldn't really exist?
It can be kind of cheap, like in a story, because it's like one of those things where you can use that when you write yourself into a corner.
It's a very Japanese thing to do, to have a transformation. I almost never see that in Western stuff.
Yeah, Western stuff doesn't do it that much.
There's no Super Saiyans anymore.
Yeah, you don't see that.
There's no Unleashing of the Bankai or anything.
Yeah, no Bankai.
There's no Power Rangers transformation or anything.
Yeah, you don't see that. Like usually it's a transformation. It's just the character just like puts on a new costume or something.
You know what I mean? Though, like that. I don't know. I never really see much unless they have what would that be? I guess Star Wars. Do they have a transformation moment, or is it just like, oh, now I'm strong again because I'm more determined?
It's more so just like they just get more training.
I think that's lame. I think that Western people, they should start copying that, but they don't because they don't know how to write anymore. In the mainstream, you know.
Or if they do, they make it weird and dumb, like Steven Universe with the whole fusion thing.
I've never seen Steven Universe, so I can't talk much about it, but all I know is that's very gay.
It from what I've seen of it,
flamin'?
It really is.
It's flaming gay.
Well, the thing is with them is, you know how most shows, the characters usually they just like touch each other and then they combine together or whatever, or they kind of like energy infused. There's like it's like this weird, like some stuff like this weird like dance thing they do or something. The one character jumps to the other, and the writer said that it's like an analogy for sex or something, because it apparently feels really good to do it when like the gems fuse together. It's really weird because there's a plot point where a character tricks another into doing it, and it's like, so it says, is that technically rape by your logic?
It's
all these analogies. Like, is it technically rape then? Because that's pretty fucking dark.
It's not rape until the balls touch.
And it gets even weirder because I think there's a moment where Steven fuses with his dad. I think that actually happens in the show where he like combines with his dad.
I don't know why they admit that this is supposed to be like sex.
Yeah, it's like you might have been better off not saying anything.
Yeah, just dumb. Oh my God. I saw like an episode of Steven Universe. Like I was at like this weird hotel and we had nothing, so I just turned the TV Cartoon Network. I'm like, what could go wrong? And it was like Steven Universe. I couldn't pay attention to any of it. It was like nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Like I was trying really hard to follow it, but am I supposed to watch it from the very beginning to end? Like I can't start from anywhere?
I don't know, because I'll be honest, I've only seen clips of it and people talking about it because I saw like the art style and I was like, I am out.
I don't even mind the art style. It's the story that I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I know people who used to be fans of it and they've tried to explain it to me and I just stare at them like, man, I watch anime and this shit feels weird to me. That should just tell you how weird it just sounds to...
Is Steven Universe one of your biggest inspirations?
No. No.
I don't know who would say yes to that. They're like, because I don't
know.
I do see some people say, well, because like if you go on Reddit, like on the writing sub or whatever, and you'll be like, here's my story inspired by Steven Universe. And I'm like, I don't know what to expect from this.
I guess people might look at it as inspiration for writing like LGBT stuff, I guess. I can see that. People using that as inspiration for that. But if you're not super interested in doing that, I don't really know.
Are there any LGBT characters in your stories or no?
I'm trying to think. There's one where I kind of thought about it, but I'm not sure if it's even gonna... I don't think the way the story's going is like that's not even gonna be...
Like you never feel inclined to do it, or you never feel like, oh, this character should be gay because then I can represent them.
Nah, I've never felt inclined to do it because it's just okay.
I mean, it's not part of your
Actually, no,
audience.
I take that back. There was a character I did write that was bi at one point. It was a she. She was like, it didn't even really get brought up that much, huh?
Naturally, it's going to be a woman.
And naturally, because I mean, it seems like that's more socially acceptable for one.
It's not that it's socially acceptable,
obvious
it's that
reasons.
it's more likely because women are
too.
designed to be bisexual just, through genetics, through
I
evolution.
did read that somewhere a bit more inclined to that than men
Well,
are.
because like if they want to have a partner, their goal for having a partner is just to have somebody take care of their child. So whether it's another woman or a man, they just want the child to survive, right?
Yeah, I guess that checks out.
And then, what's his name? Brett Weidenstein, he has a video about this where he's talking about, like, the bisexuality or lesbian actions of women, how it kind of makes sense, biologically.
Because I've seen it with, like, a lot of, like, women, like, they do stuff that, like, if a guy did that, people would be like, are they gay?
Well, because women...
Like, I'm not
women
trying to
do
be
that?
mean, but it's like, you kind of notice that.
Because the whole idea is that women want other women to be attractive to keep, humans alive. Like, that's the main goal, to have children, right?
Yeah.
And then so when
We
women...
want a species
like women will check out other women to make sure that they themselves are also attractive for the man, and they want to have a good idea of what is attractive so that they can attract a man.
Yeah, so they look and say, okay, what is this person doing that's attracting the guys I like, kind of thing.
And men do the same thing, but we don't do it through body. We do it through things that matter to the women. We do it through our status in society. We do it through, like, how much money we have. That's why men want to impress other guys, and that's why men, they try to, like, fight each other to see who wins the battle. Like, who's the stronger man.
Yeah.
We're not, like, grabbing each other's balls to see, like, who has sperm,
Nah, I feel like that's a good way to get your ass kicked.
Or your ass sucked if you're in the gay club. Ooh, wow, that was edgy indeed. Well, those are all the terrible jokes we have for you today. But before we all fuck off, make sure to check out the link in the description below, where you can find Edgy's book, The Renegades Volume 1. Volume 2 is also coming soon, so check out both of those if you're interested in anthropomorphic animals duking it out with kooky corporations. Till next time!